Welcome to the Asian Dating Podcast. I'm your host, May Bugenhagen. I run a boutique matchmaking company called Two Asian Matchmakers that started in Los Angeles in 2009. And I help men and women who want to date, mainly men who want to date Asian women. And my clients are usually men who are the paying clients, and the women join my database for free. However, every year I take 2 to 3 women as a matchmaking client. So today I have Julia Malakiman as my guest. And I'm so excited to have her on the show today because I don't get a whole lot of date coaches for men on the show, but to have a beautiful woman be a date coach for men and to help the introverted guys and analytical guys build confidence. I mean, that's what she needs, right? And that's what we need in Silicon Valley. So, Julia, welcome to the show.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, May, for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. I started my business a few years back, and it really started out of my own dating experience. I grew up here in the Silicon Valley, and you come across quite a few introverted, shy, but wonderful, wonderful men. And I felt like, coupling my own insecurities in dating and, feeling not good enough and seeing that also reflected in men who also felt insecure about their value and their worth and how that affected their dating life. I kind of thought it was a no-brainer to help because there's a lot of men here and there's a lot of, great men here and a lot of great women. And I feel like we really lack, as a society, but, for me, I coach men specifically, we lack a lot of that courage to show up authentically. And that is what we need for great dating. And it's very scary. Like it is scary to put yourself out there, to face rejection and, to constantly get rejected for a lot of these guys. It's not an easy thing to go through. So to have someone on their side to cheer them on, coach them, help them shift the way they're seeing things, the way they're coming up to women, engaging with women. That's what I do. So it's yeah, but we can definitely talk more about that.
Now, what age range of men do you work with? Like, what's your sweet spot?
Yeah, it's mainly men in their late 20s and 30s. So guys, in the 35 to 40. I mean, I do have guys that are older who are now divorced, who were married for a long time. Really just any guy who's kind of new or inexperienced to dating, and needs that support.
So, are there like a lot of men who are even virgins or very inexperienced with dating? Like they're so
Yeah.
shy they can't even approach a woman or don't know how, and now
Yeah.
the tools to do that?
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of the guys I work with have never had a girlfriend before. A lot of them, maybe have interacted with women in college, maybe went to a party here or there in college, but never had a, f- a real partner yet, or even dated, haven't gone on a single date. And so that's totally okay. That's very understandable, right? Especially if they've put in their career first. But yeah, it's something that school didn't teach us how to date, our parents didn't teach us how to date. No one taught us. So it's like, okay, I've been studying in my entire life. I'm now in the career field. No one, I have no idea how to date. How do I even do this? The dating apps aren't giving me anything. So what am I to do? There's a lot of confusion.
Yeah. Now, what's the real reason so many smart single men struggle in dating? Like what, like their parents didn't give them permission to date as Asian parents. I know
Mhm.
my Asian parents didn't say, "Hey, May, go out and date in high school or even in college." They never gave us permission to date. But these men that you're working with, what is their reason why they're struggling with dating?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with kind of the way we've been raised. So a lot of our, in our school system, we weren't really allowed to interact with women in kind of a normal human way. A lot of times teachers would say, "Hey, don't talk to your peers, that don't distract people in class. Don't bother people around you, like kind of just stay to yourself." And the same is coming from parents, right? A lot of parents are very strict, especially on boys when it comes to dating. They don't want them to get distracted or to fall behind in school. So a lot of these a lot of relational skills are very underdeveloped in both men and women, and it's not our fault. It's really just how we were raised. And so now when it comes to dating, because it's something where men have to put themselves out there, they have to risk rejection. That's also something that's very difficult for them because a lot of us are perfectionists and we want to be able to study something, get an idea of how it works and go execute it and be very good at it.
Yeah.
Right? This is how we did very well in school. This is how a lot of us got our very good jobs. We followed rules very well and were able to solve complex problems. Now, with dating, there's no real rules. It's just you showing up, it's you being your natural self. And so we haven't really learned how to do that successfully. We think that there shouldn't be failure. We think there shouldn't be rejection. We have a hard time dealing with other people's opinions of us, right? Because if we've been following the book, we don't, and we stick to it, not many people criticize us. But with dating, you're opening up yourself to so much criticism that most men get stuck in inaction. They don't do a lot of things to get noticed, to meet women, to connect with women. And they think they're doing a lot. They're frustrating a lot. They're getting angry a lot because nothing's going on. But the actual things they're doing is very little
Yeah.
because they don't want to be judged. This is again very normal, nothing wrong with that. And so, but we can dive more into that as well.
So, does that mean that when you take them out, you're basically showing them that you're kind of like a wing woman with them? Like you have a group of five guys that go out with you, and you're like, hey, we're going to approach in broad daylight, approach women and try to talk to them. And you're basically making them do an assignment so they feel better like, okay, this is kind of like work, like school. I'll just do what she tells me to do and just get used to it and then slowly get comfortable with it or kind of pretend it's like a game when you're out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's different approaches. So I sometimes host events like this Saturday. I'm having five guys in Santana Row here in San Jose. But for my private coaching, I do this very similar thing, but one-on-one with them. So we'll go to downtown, local malls, and the whole point of it is exposure, right? You can watch all the videos on how to talk to women, but unless you're doing it, you're not going to learn anything, right? It's through the exposure, it's through getting rejected or getting maybe a response that you don't like and knowing that you'll be okay. It's also training them to see that mainly what they're envisioning is the worst case scenario, which will likely never, ever, 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 ever happen. Typically, what happens is women are giving a very neutral response or they're giving a great response to a guy coming up to her and just asking or giving a compliment or asking a very, basic question, right? It's it's helping. So the whole point I do this exposure work with them is for a lot of different reasons, but really it's to help them know how their brain works because the brain is not designed to get rejected. And so when they feel really uncomfortable in front of a very pretty woman, and their brain is telling them, hey, you can't go up to her, this is inappropriate, this is creepy, That's a very normal response. And it's their animal brain telling them, hey, don't go do that because your rejection is uncomfortable. But when they know that that part of the brain is gonna offer them all these wild scenarios, when they know that it's literally coming and it's gonna be nerve-wracking, but they know then that they can handle that and it's not the truth, and they can have a plan to actually think in a different way, then approaching becomes something that's fun, it becomes a challenge, it becomes a growth opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. So why do you want them to approach women in public settings?
Yeah, so approaching women in public settings builds all the skills they need. It builds their mindset, training it to be more positive. It builds their courage. It builds their emotional maturity, right? Instead of needing women's validation, they start giving it to themselves. It builds their discipline. How many times do guys say they want to go do something and talk to someone or go up to a woman and they don't do it? And every time they say they want to do it and they don't do it, it's a slash in their self-esteem. So it's building that discipline to be like, hey, I said I want to do this, I'm going to go do it. It also builds their social skills. Sometimes the guys are standing a little bit funny, or they're not looking at the woman, or they're pacing, or they're fidgeting. That gets better and improved on through repetition. There's no other way.
So how do you train them or support them? A group of five guys, for example, will go out with you this weekend. What do you do? How do you get them to go talk to a woman, and how do you pick which woman for them to target?
Yeah. So, so the way that I start my program, my events is really diving into the mindset work that needs to come before we even go out into the field. So, really explaining how the mind works, how their belief system is very natural and how it's working against them, but also how to work with the brain better.
Mhm.
Then we do more role play because if they can do an approach on me, and like the first time they do an approach on me, they're extremely nervous, especially now they're doing it in front of four other guys, and they can realize like, okay, I'm safe. This is okay. It really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Then we can take that momentum and really just anyone, right? We can start often, I'll start off with guys. Approach a friendly guy, approach an older guy, approach a woman with a dog.
Mm,
Do low stakes approaching,
yeah.
right? Because we have different thoughts about different people. I can more easily approach an unattractive person because my thoughts are different. And then I have all these thoughts about an attractive person that makes it harder. It's
Mhm.
not, they're both have the ability to reject me. I have just somehow associated the less attractive person with being less of a threat,
Yeah.
you know?
So, is that what you recommend for people listening if they have trouble asking a woman out? They should basically go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's and just talk to everyone, especially the older
Yeah.
lady that you're not interested in picking up, but just start a
Yes.
conversation with her and then gradually advance to maybe a younger woman or a woman who's with a kid, like still non-threatening.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to ask a
Yeah.
single mom out, but then you start asking and talking to different types of women until you're more at ease.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what that is doing, so we are very judgmental as humans, and a lot of ego is involved. So a lot of my clients will be like, Julia, I only want to talk to like hot women. Like, don't give me ugly women. I only want to talk to the hot ones. And I get where they're coming from, but it really is just a projection of their own internal judgment of themselves. They are the ones that say they want to talk to very hot women are always the guys that are the most self-critical of themselves, right? They are very negative toward themselves. And so that reflects on the type of women that they want to talk to. So if we can work on being less judgmental as people and actually have compassion for all people across the board. Doesn't mean you're going to date everyone you talk to. That's not the point. The point is, can I see my belief system, my thought patterns when I go to a supermarket. Who am I judging? How am I judging myself in this moment? Who am I thinking is better than me? And if I can make everyone fair game, because I know regardless of what happens, I'm growing either way, whether they want to talk to me or not, it's a win for me. Then we go with whoever's there.
So let's say you're a single woman and I mean, we're talking about the men, but now we're talking about the women, okay? For the women who are listening, how should they approach men at a grocery store, or how can they practice this exercise?
Just be like, hey, I saw you here and I just wanted to approach you.
That's what you would say, your opening line?
It can be whatever you want it to be, literally. It could be whatever you want it to be because the words that come out of my mouth are only gonna, the communication, like the way communication works is 7% is gonna be my words. The 93% is gonna be my body language, my
Yeah.
energy, my confidence. So if I go up to a guy and say, "Hey, I just wanted to come up and approach you. I thought, you looked pretty cool. What's your name?" He could be like, "Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm actually just here to shop. I didn't really want to talk." Like, "Okay, no worries. Like, have a great day."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That could be his response. Another guy can give me a response like, "Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, what's your name?
Yeah.
What are you doing here? Like, do you come to Trader Joe's often?" Like, it doesn't matter. Every guy's gonna have a different response to me. So it's just learning through the process, right? Every single approach I do, I'm going to learn more. I'm going to learn more about me. I'm going to learn more about the dude. I'm going to learn more about how I interact, what I like, what I don't like. Oh, okay, I tried this approach. It felt a little unnatural. Okay, that's great to know. Now I'm going to switch it up for the next one.
Yeah. So what's one word that you can say to somebody to get their attention if you were just approaching them without sounding creepy?
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. This is kind of random, but I just wanted to come up and say hi.
Yeah. Like, what man wouldn't like that? Or what woman would think that's rude it should be flattering to everybody if
Yeah.
someone talks to them, right?
Oh my gosh. I swear, 99% of the women that my guys approach, their response seriously is so fine. Like it's like, "Oh, thank you. Like that's so sweet."
Yeah.
Like it's so rare that women give like, "Oh, yeah." Not interested. Like it's just so rare that that happens because guys like the my clients, they're not starting with, "Hey, sorry, can I get your number?" Like they're not doing that.
Right.
They're just having basic conversation.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you talked a lot about fear of rejection. What's the surprising way this fear actually shows how men show up, actually shapes how men show
Mm.
up?
Yeah, so the fear of rejection, it shows up in a lot of hiding. So a lot of avoiding, a lot of it actually shows up into a lot of like cognitive distortions. So a lot of imagining women in either very extreme ways. So a lot of guys who don't have a lot of experience with women, they start getting into their imagination, and when women give signs, which I mean, when women have facial expressions, right, or just literally doing themselves, guys who don't have a lot of experience with women, they will start interpreting very neutral responses, neutral body language, very negatively. So it can go either way, right? Men can either assume a woman is totally not into him, and literally she's just standing somewhere doing like nothing, right? It's very neutral. Or he'll be like, "She's so into me because she like looked at me," right? It becomes so extreme. And I'm sure with your clients too, understand this. It's like, it's all still a fantasy in their mind, what they're imagining. but it becomes so distorted because they're not getting a lot of actual interactions with women.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting to me. So, your programs, how do they work? Like, what does that entail for someone to work with you, Julia?
Yeah, so I have a 12-week program and it covers a lot of what we've talked about today. So a lot of the mindset shifts men need to have in order to have a healthy relationship. We cover a lot of the emotional maturity, how to own your own emotions, right? Because a lot of guys and women, we all do this, right? We blame, for example, a guy. He can get very emotional about the dating apps or about dating or about women. And it's, again, very natural, but for him to own that he's creating his emotional experience and that there's other ways to feel better, that's very empowering for men to know that they don't need, women to necessarily even like them and they can feel really good about themselves. Like that kind of blows their mind. So we do a lot of that. Most of my sessions are in person because I'm here local to the Silicon Valley. And that's where I take guys out to get that real life exposure, build their social skills, build their confidence, build just everything that they need to start changing their dating life.
Can you give me one example of a, not off the wall, but give me one example of a success story that you're very proud of?
Yeah, I mean, oh gosh, so many of my clients improve very quickly, but I would say just the way that, I mean, I had a client who was very self-critical. Like every single thing was his fault. The reason women rejected him was because of him. The reason that he was feeling the way he did was because of him. Like everything was just his fault in his mind. And so through working together and just questioning a lot of his thoughts and giving him more exposure to real world situations, it really changed the way that he talked to himself.
Mhm.
And I know that's like doesn't sound like a huge transformation, but it does affect how he started talking to women.
Yeah.
Because like that's what women read is how you think of yourself. Are you worried like if I'm talking to a guy that I find very attractive and I'm constantly worrying about what he thinks of me, I'm not present, I'm not really showing up, I'm in some other place in my mind, and I've made him so much more powerful than me. Like I've just made him better than me. And so when my client was able to really take back his own power, it just allowed the women to appreciate him so much more. He was going on like 3 times as many dates. It was awesome. I mean, it really is great. And so yeah.
That's great. That's great. Now, what's one counterintuitive truth about attraction that most men don't realize?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it's unfortunate, and because we've been socialized to think attraction is just this one thing. But I think guys put way too much emphasis on their looks and their status, whatever that is, right? Maybe it's a monetary status that they have, or that's what they think women are attracted to. But as we know, May, right? Women nowadays, we work. We can be very independent. We can make the money, we can have the home, all of that. So really, what is attracting us to men? Straight up their personality. Their personality, how they treat us, how they treat themselves, right? Are they compatible lifestyle wise? Do they make time to even want to date? Or are they a workaholic? Like all of these things are very, are going to determine attraction. And for me, attraction, like you, yeah, you need like a baseline physical attraction to someone, but everything else, whether I get super into that guy or not, is going to be on how he is as a person.
Yeah.
Is he confident? What is his energy like? Does he talk nonstop without asking a question? That's a turnoff, right? So these things are, I wish, men, and it's so difficult, right? Because men and women, especially women, we've been so objectified for, so long, right? We think our worth too is tied into our body. And I've had so many guys say like, yeah, I wasn't necessarily that into her, but when we got to know each other, like she just brings out the best in me. Like I really like her. I'm like, okay, well, now we know, right? It's not just the looks, because that's gonna definitely fade. You give me an attractive man, but he lacks social awareness, he's very insecure, not gonna happen. Not
Right.
gonna happen. And I've been attracted, me personally, I've been attracted to some of society's unconventionally or not conventionally attractive men, but because they like really had a lot of confidence in themselves, it outweighed any part of their body.
Yeah.
Literally, it's that powerful.
So you teach men to be confident approaching women, but what other ways do you find that can help them with their confidence? Like just interacting with other men? Because what if these clients don't have a lot of guy friends? Like just having the
Yeah.
male boosting morale, that I bet helps your group of men too, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, most of the guys that start with me, they don't have a single friend. I was shocked. I didn't know, May, how bad it was for men, like how bad it actually is in terms of the loneliness and the isolation. Like I had no idea until I started coaching them, because it's crazy how many guys that I work with who do not have a single friend, a
Right.
single friend. It just blows my mind. So it's like, and then when they do, and that's why their desire for a woman is so high. It's because they want to fill that void. And so yeah, definitely having male friends is really important, so they can release some pressure from having a woman like fix them and make them happier. Let's outsource it to other, like allow other guys and other people to fulfill some of that as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Now, I mean, with social media and all these other apps and, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and many more, how has porn and social media impacted the way men date nowadays?
Yeah. So this is actually a very interesting topic, because I think nowadays what has happened is because a lot of guys don't have real experience with women in a very like natural way, where they've met as a friend, they've gotten to know them. Most guys' interactions with, or most guys' relationship with women is through a lot of social media and porn and the fantasy that they have of women.
Mhm.
So this has led to a lot of sexualizing and objectifying of women. And so the way that this plays out is a lot of guys will see a woman and they'll be like, "Oh my God, she's gorgeous." And oh my God, I would love to like sleep with her. Or oh my God, her body, like, and women do this too, right? I literally do this to men too. But what happens is, well, then we get into, we can practice self-control. We can, and this is what I'm going to talk about right now, is when guys do it, they'll go from that sexualizing to then pedestalizing, to put her on a pedestal. So it'll be like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. She's so beautiful. Wow. To then she's out of my league. I'm not good
Yeah.
enough. She's better than me. I can't approach her. And so they get stuck in this cycle of not seeing a woman as her like complex, multi-dimensional self. They've very much seen her as this like one object, this
Yeah.
one sphere, which is beauty, physical beauty. And so that plays a huge role in the type of women men go after. They want the hottest of the hot without considering, okay, well, actually, what I should value is the personality, the way she treats me, all of that, because that's going to always outweigh the physical. But another thing that it does is it keeps men in this dopamine loop, right? So imagine guys who go to the gym and they see a very attractive woman. And what feels better, truthfully, is to go to the gym every day, see her, have an imagination that, oh my God, one day she might come up to me, or oh my God, like she's so hot. Like that is so much more fulfilling chemically because of all the dopamine it creates than actually going up and talking to her and getting to know her. Because that ruins the fantasy. It
Right.
ruins everything that he's created in his mind that's completely unreal. And so this is where I think rejection has to be more part of the dating experience, but real life rejection, like in-person rejection, like is so healthy and it's going to make men happier
Yeah.
when they know that they can actually go up to a woman. And sometimes there will be rejections, but a lot of times it'll just be great conversation.
Right.
And you'll actually see that, okay, this human is kind of like similar to me. Like she's not this perfect creature that I just only think of in a very sexual way. Like she's actually has stuff to her. And so, yeah.
All this stuff is very, very interesting. Now, before I let you go, I
Mhm.
wanted to ask you a couple of dating questions where I know you're helping men date better and to approach women. But what are some things women can do to help the men along without rejecting them and making them feel bad? Like,
I think say what is true to you. Like if you don't want to talk to a guy, be straight up. Be like, dude, I don't want to talk right now. Like I feel like as women, it goes like for me, when guys approach me, I'm very like super respectful for them. I'm like, dude, I know what that took. This is literally what I say to them. I'm like, dude, that was so courageous. I wish more guys would do that. I'm like so glad you came up to me. Or if you know that, or we'll just have a conversation. Like when guys come up to me and just has an interesting question or interesting point of view, I'm like, let's engage. I'm
yeah,
down. Like I don't mind. Um, Now, if a woman isn't interested, like I would say, girl, don't sugarcoat it. Be
yeah,
like, nah, I have to go.
yeah,
I feel like a lot of women waste a lot of energy trying to pacify a man for his feelings. You know, it's like scary for women sometimes
yeah.
because a lot of guys don't handle no well, right? They get all uptight and mean about it. So it's hard, I think so just be as honest and truthful as you can. And you know, obviously if you feel like this guy's a threat, I mean, that's like kind of hard, right? Because you're polite in
Yeah.
rejecting, he can get upset. You're mean in rejecting, he can get upset. Like I mean, that's something we got to work on the men, right? That's not the woman's fault. We got to work on the men for that. But yeah, just whatever you feel like for the woman.
Do you teach the men how to read nonverbal communication? Do you teach them like, hey, when if she does this, she kind of means this,
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah,
all those things.
yeah, definitely. And working a lot on not having an outcome needed, you know, because a lot of them, you know, because a lot of guys, when they see a woman, instead of seeing it as an opportunity to connect, they're looking at it as how can I get her number?
Right. Right.
And that's gonna make any conversation bad
Yeah. Yeah.
because you don't actually want to get to know her and talk to her. You want this thing you can get later and like this outcome from it. So, you know, this is what I tell guys is approach any woman and don't even worry about what's going to happen after that. But the fact that you can approach and have a conversation, that's you being emotionally mature. That's you overcoming the fear. That's you being more powerful as a man and not needing anything from her.
Yeah.
You can want to date her, but let's first find out if you even like her,
Right.
you know?
True. True. Yeah. See if there is that connection or see if you feel anything and see if she
Yeah.
reciprocates before you realize that, oh, the whole purpose is just to get her number. Like that can be a very
Yeah.
daunting task. So,
Yeah. And that's when guys get upset because
right.
they're not getting what they want. And I think men need to remind themselves that the way that they can respect themselves is by finding a woman who has a high interest in him. Don't go
Right.
after the women that don't want to talk to you and figure
Mm,
out why that's not working. That's a
yeah.
waste of your time.
Well, Julia, thank you so much for joining me on the Asian Dating Podcast. And I will put all of your information in the show notes. And for the audience out there, please, thank you so much for joining me today. And the ladies, if you're single, please go to twoasianmatchmakers.com, fill out a profile so I can find you. And the men out there, if you're looking for a nice Asian woman, I would love to help you out. So go to twoasianmatchmakers.com. Thank you so much, Julia, for your time.
Thank
And
you.
yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much,
Thank
May,
you.
for having me. I appreciate it.
Of
All
course,
right.
of course. This was fun. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
awesome.